from time to time you're given an application problem with a formula in it and you have to do something with that formula. It helps to read the text a bit here. If you look at this, we've got a formula P. That's our profit for this business. And X is the number of salespeople. Okay, so what I've done down here is I've plotted that equation, P of X. And you see it's a negative even type function, right? It's going down and down. And you can get that from the fact that this quadratic has a leading power function of negative 2x squared, right? So that's my clue that this is an upside down parabola. And now look at what we're asked for here. The minimum number of salespeople for profitability. Well, think about what kind of thing that is. What's profitability? That's where P is greater than 0, right? Where you're making some money. So I'm going to draw a line at P equals 0 going straight across. And I want to know, where are these x-intercepts, essentially? I want to know, where does the line, the red line of profitability, intersect with my equation? You may be more familiar with the idea of x-intercepts. That's essentially all we're doing here. So let's take that equation, P of x equals negative 2x squared plus 48x minus 75. And now we're going to turn that into a profitability equation by setting it equal to 0. And you see, if I'm to the left here, then the business is not going to be profitable. Likewise, if I have too many employees, they're all standing around, they have nothing to do. Too many salaries, it's not profitable. But there's a sweet spot, and we have to find that. So the way you solve this is using the quadratic formula, right? I'm going to say A equals negative 2, B equals 48, and C equals negative 75. So we just put that into this guy. X equals negative B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. All right, now plug all those things in. I'll need a little more space for this. We get X equals negative B, so that's negative 48 plus or minus the square root of 48 squared minus 4 times A, which is negative 2, times C, which is negative 75. Okay, divided by 2 times A. Sorry, A is negative 2. So 2 times negative 2. And when you do that, what you're going to get, if you're using a calculator, I'm skipping a whole lot of stuff here, I'm simplifying a bit. We're going to get X equals, on the small side, 1.68. And on the big side, we get a number of, let's see what we got here, 22, I'm rounding, obviously these decimals go on for quite a while, 22.32. But I think plugging it into the calculator is the most direct way to go with this. Now, the question is, how many employees does it take to hit profitability? You can't hire 1.6, well, I guess you could if you hired a part-time employee, but I'm asking whole numbers here. As a whole number of employees, you see this has to be 2 employees for minimum number right here, and the maximum number of employees you can sustain is 22, because once you go over 22, your profitability dips down below 0 again. So that's how you go about this problem. We're asking for x-intercepts here. Now the second part might have you stuck, and all that's happening here is we've got the profit measured at a certain amount in thousands of dollars, and I want to know when we hit $87,000. So I'm saying it's not enough to be profitable. I want to hit a certain level of profitability called 87,000. So we set this equation equal to 87,000. P of x equals negative 2x squared plus 48x minus 75 equals 87. Well, they're all in thousands, so 87,000. Now the way you solve this one, we're not ready for the quadratic formula yet because I still need a 0 over here and I don't have it. So I'm going to subtract 87 from both sides. Right, minus 87, minus 87, and that's going to give us this. Negative 2x squared plus 48x minus 75 and minus 87. So that's going to be, trying to do some mental math here, minus 162. Minus 162 equals 0. Now, when you solve that, again, using the quadratic formula, you're going to get 2 points, this value and this value for x. And those are the minimum and maximum number of employees. And so as we scroll down towards the end here, we get to a part where we say, find the maximum profit possible. Okay, maximum profit. And because this is a quadratic function, it's a parabola, what we're really asking for here is the peak. And that's defined by these coordinates, h comma k. And you might remember we can turn this profit equation into something in vertex form. Okay, so the way I do that, let's get my profit equation down here again. I'm going to convert this into vertex form. So this is negative 2x squared plus 48x minus 75. Now, as you look at this, remember, there's a few things we know. A equals negative 2, B equals 48, and C equals negative 75. That was very useful stuff for the quadratic formula. But what I want here is the value of h and k, that vertex. So h equals negative b over 2a. This is one definitely worth remembering. Okay, this will come up all sorts of times. So negative b is negative 48, and 2a is 2 times negative 2. So this becomes negative 48 over negative 4. That's 12. Okay, so we've got 12 as the x coordinate. That's going to be up here, right? This is going to be 12. So 12 people required. And then what's the maximum profit in thousands of dollars? Well, that's going to be, this is pretty simple. You just take h and you plug it into your equation. So f of h, which means negative 2 times 12 squared plus 48 times 12 minus 75. Okay, and when you plug that in, you get, math. We get 213. Remember, it's in thousands of dollars. So this is going to be $213,000. Okay. Now, as to the question in this last part, how do we write it in vertex form? Here's what it means. I want to say this as my vertex form. P of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, this is what's called vertex form. It's similar to factored form and standard form, simply in the sense that it's another way to write a polynomial. But this way right here is very useful because this makes it very easy for me to look at the equation and tell what kinds of parabola it is. So negative 2 out front means it's an upside down parabola. X minus 12 means it's a shift to the right of 12. And plus 213 means it is a shift up by 213. Okay, so this is your vertex form.